3:47 a.m. Washington, D.C. The encrypted message appeared on Maya Rodriguez's screen, jolting her awake at her desk. Lighthouse, publish everything. Tonight? No matter what happens to me, they know I've been talking. This is your last chance. Maya's heart raced. For 6 months, Lighthouse had been feeding her information about Defense Department contracts, shell companies, inflated budgets, weapons shipments that disappeared into thin air. Every tip had checked out. Every document was authentic, but this felt different, urgent, final. She scrolled through the files he'd sent over the past week. 47 documents, video evidence, bank transfers totaling $847 million. Names she recognized: senators, generals, CEOs of major defense contractors. Her editor would kill her for publishing without his approval, but Lighthouse had never been wrong. Maya's fingers flew across the keyboard. She formatted the article, uploaded the documents to her newspaper's secure server, and hit schedule publication for 6 o'clock am, 2 hours away. Then she created backup copies, cloud storage, 3 different servers, a USB drive she'd mailed to her sister in Chicago. At 5:30 a.m., she pressed Publish Now. The article went live. Operation Ghost Fleet. How $847 million in military contracts funded a criminal enterprise. Maya leaned back, exhausted and exhilarated. The story of her career. Her Pulitzer moment. She closed her laptop and walked to her apartment window. Washington was still dark, streetlights reflecting off rain-slicked pavement. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. You have no idea what you've just done. Maya's blood ran cold. She typed back, "Who is this?" No response. At 6:23 a.m., the pounding started. Federal agents, open the door. Maya froze. The pounding intensified, shaking the walls. Maya Rodriguez, FBI. Open the door now. She stumbled to the door, hands shaking, and opened it. 50 agents in tactical gear flooded her apartment. Flashlights, weapons drawn, radios crackling. A woman in an FBI jacket stepped forward. Maya Rodriguez, I'm Special Agent Sarah Vance. We have a warrant to seize all electronic devices and documents related to classified information you obtained illegally. I'm a journalist. First Amendment doesn't apply to stolen classified documents. Vance handed her the warrant. Where's your laptop? Maya watched helplessly as agents tore through her apartment. They took her laptop, her phone, her backup drives, even her notebooks. You're making a mistake, Maya said. Those contractors are criminals. The only criminal here is your source, and possibly you, if we determine you knowingly received stolen classified material. Vance's expression was stone. Who is Lighthouse? I don't know. That's the point of anonymous sources. Then you're going to have a very difficult morning. They confiscated everything. 6 hours of searching. Maya sat on her couch, watching her career disappear into evidence boxes. When they finally left, her apartment was destroyed. But her phone, the one they'd seized, buzzed one last time before an agent bagged it. A message from Lighthouse. They're too late. The truth is out. Thank you, Maya. And somewhere in Washington, someone was watching the news explode, knowing exactly what they'd set in motion. FBI headquarters. A windowless room. Maya had been there for 4 hours. Special Agent Vance sat across from her, a stack of documents between them. Let's start again. Who is Lighthouse? I don't know. You've been communicating with this person for 6 months. You expect me to believe you never tried to find out who they were. That's how anonymous sources work. They stay anonymous. Vance slid a photo across the table. Recognize this? It was a screenshot of one of Lighthouse's messages. That's from my secure server. How did you? We've been monitoring you for 3 weeks. Vance leaned forward. You think you're the hero here, Maya? You just published classified defense intelligence. You've compromised active operations. You've put lives at risk. I published evidence of corruption. You published stolen classified documents. Vance's composure cracked. Documents that detail troop movements, weapons shipments, intelligence assets. You didn't uncover corruption. You burned an entire counter-intelligence operation. Maya felt the floor tilt. What? Vance pulled out more photos. Operation Ghost Fleet wasn't a criminal enterprise. It was a CIA operation to track illegal weapons sales to terrorist organizations. Those shell companies were fronts. Those inflated contracts were covers for undercover purchases. And now every person involved is exposed. No, Lighthouse showed me. Lighthouse is a foreign intelligence operative who played you like a violin. Vance threw down more documents. The bank transfers were real. The corruption was fabricated around them. You just handed Russia or China. We're still determining which. A complete map of American counter-terrorism operations in the Middle East. Maya couldn't breathe. I verified everything. You verified what he wanted you to verify. The documents were authentic because he stole them. But the narrative? The corruption angle? Pure manipulation. Vance stood. 3 intelligence officers are already missing. 2 of the CEOs you named were undercover CIA. They've been pulled out, their operations burned, and there's a kill list circulating on dark web forums with names from your article. I didn't know. Ignorance isn't a defense. Vance moved to the door. You're facing charges under the Espionage Act. 20 years minimum. Unless you help us find Lighthouse. I told you, I don't know who he is. Then figure it out. Because right now, you're responsible for what happens next. Vance paused. And Maya? Your article has been read 17 million times in 6 hours. Congratulations. You're famous. She left Maya alone in the room. Maya put her head in her hands. 6 months of work, her reputation, possibly her freedom, all because she trusted the wrong person. But something nagged at her. Vance said 3 weeks of monitoring. That meant the FBI knew about Lighthouse before she published. So why didn't they stop her? Unless they wanted her to publish. Unless she wasn't the only one being played. Maya was released after 8 hours. No charges yet, but her passport confiscated and a tracking ankle monitor installed. Don't leave DC, Vance warned. And don't talk to press. You're under investigation. Outside FBI headquarters, Maya faced a wall of cameras. Reporters shouted questions. Maya, did you know the documents were classified? Are you working with a foreign government? Do you regret publishing? She pushed through without comment, caught a cab home. Her apartment was still chaos. She sat on the couch and opened her sister's laptop. The FBI had missed it because Rosa had left it during her last visit. Maya logged into her secure email through a VPN. 237 new messages. Half were death threats. Traitor, you should be executed. You got good people killed, others were supportive. Thank you for exposing the truth. Don't let them silence you. And one message stood out. Sent 30 minutes ago. Encrypted. Lighthouse. They lied to you. Operation Ghost Fleet is real corruption. The CIA story is cover. Trust the documents, not the FBI. Maya stared at the screen. Was Lighthouse still playing her? Or was Vance the liar? Her phone. Rosa's phone rang. Unknown number. Hello, Miss Rodriguez? This is Thomas Brennan, attorney. I represent certain individuals named in your article who would like to speak with you privately. I'm not discussing my sources. This isn't about sources. It's about your safety. The people you exposed are dangerous. And the FBI isn't protecting you, they're using you. Who are you really? Someone who knows Lighthouse and knows you're in more danger than you realize. Meet me tomorrow. Noon, Lincoln Memorial. Come alone. He hung up. Maya sat frozen. Every instinct screamed trap. But what choice did she have? Her reputation was destroyed. Her career likely over. And somewhere, 3 intelligence officers were missing, possibly dead because of her. She had to know the truth. At 11:47 p.m., she received another message, this time on Rosa's laptop. Impossible unless someone knew she had it. Unknown. Tomorrow at Lincoln Memorial, you'll meet Thomas Brennan. He works for the same contractors you exposed. They want to know what else Lighthouse gave you. If you go, you won't come back. A friend. Maya's hands trembled. Who was the friend? Who could she trust? She opened her article again, reading it with fresh eyes. Every detail Lighthouse had provided, every document, and then she saw it, something she'd missed before. A tiny inconsistency in one of the bank transfers. The routing number didn't match the bank listed. She checked another transfer. Same issue. Her journalist instincts kicked in. She spent the next 3 hours cross-referencing every document Lighthouse had provided. 7 inconsistencies. Small, subtle, the kind of thing you'd miss unless you were looking. Either Lighthouse had made mistakes unlikely given his precision for 6 months, or someone had altered the documents after he sent them. But who? And why? At 3:00 a.m., Maya made a decision. She wouldn't meet Brennan tomorrow. She would find out who Lighthouse really was, and she would discover whether she'd expose corruption or become a pawn in something far more dangerous. Maya spent the day tracing Lighthouse's digital trail. Every message had been sent through encrypted channels, Tor browsers, VPNs, burner accounts, professional-level operational security. But professionals make mistakes. She analyzed 6 months of communication patterns, message timing, word choice, technical knowledge. Lighthouse always responded within certain hours, p.m. to a.m. Eastern Time, never on Sundays. Grammar was American English, educated, occasionally military jargon. And then she found it buried in metadata from an encrypted file he'd sent in month 2. A tiny error. GPS coordinates embedded in a photo's EXIF data, 388951N, 770369W. Maya's heart raced. She pulled up the coordinates. Pentagon, Arlington, Virginia. Lighthouse worked at the Pentagon, or had access to it. She dug deeper. The photo showed a document on a desk. She could see part of a security badge reflected in a coffee cup. Blurry, but visible. Maya enhanced the image using every tool she knew. The badge was blue and white. Pentagon security badges were color-coded by clearance level. Blue meant contractor access, not military, not CIA. A defense contractor with Pentagon access. Her phone buzzed. The attorney, Brennan, calling again. "You missed our meeting, Miss Rodriguez. I've been busy, I imagine you have. But you need to understand the people you're dealing with don't appreciate being stood up. Tell your clients I'm not interested. It's not my clients you should worry about. It's the FBI. Agent Vance has a warrant for your arrest. Espionage charges. She's coming for you tonight." Maya's blood ran cold. "You're lying. Check the news." She opened a browser. Breaking news. Justice Department announces espionage charges against journalist Maya Rodriguez. Her face was everywhere. "They're framing you," Brennan continued. "But I can help. My clients can make this go away. All they need is one thing: the name of your source. I don't know his name. Then we can't help you." He paused. "You have 3 hours before they come. Use them wisely." He hung up. Maya's hands shook. Espionage charges. 20 years minimum. Her life was over. Unless she ran. She grabbed Rosa's laptop, threw clothes into a backpack. She had maybe $400 cash. No credit cards, they'd track those. As she reached for the door, someone knocked. Her blood turned to ice. "Maya Rodriguez? U.S. Marshals. We have a warrant for your arrest." She looked around frantically. Fire escape. 3rd floor. She could make it. Maya climbed out the window as the pounding intensified. Down the metal stairs into the alley. Running. Behind her, shouts. She's running. East Alley. Maya ran through D.C. streets, her journalist's knowledge of the city her only advantage. She knew every shortcut, every blind spot. 30 minutes later, she collapsed in a 24-hour laundromat in Adams Morgan, gasping for air. She was a fugitive now, wanted by the FBI, all because she trusted an anonymous source. Her phone buzzed. "Lighthouse. I'm sorry, Maya. I never meant for this to happen to you, but I can help. If you want the truth, meet me tomorrow. I'll tell you everything." Ellen address followed. Abandoned warehouse, 1247 Oakey Street, NE. Midnight. Maya stared at the message. This was insane. Walking into a trap. Lighthouse could be anyone for an agent, government operative, or the contractors trying to silence her. But she was out of options, and she needed answers. 11:54 p.m. Oakey Street, Northeast DC. The warehouse district was deserted. Crumbling buildings, broken streetlights, the distant sound of sirens. Maya approached 1247 cautiously. Every shadow could hide marshals. Every sound could be a trap. The warehouse door was unlocked. Inside, darkness. Lighthouse, her voice echoed. A light flicked on. A figure stood in the center of the warehouse, tall, mid-40s, wearing a dark jacket. "Thank you for coming," he said. "I know you have no reason to trust me. You're right." "I don't." Maya stayed near the exit. "Who are you?" He stepped into the light. Military posture. Scar across his left cheek. Sharp, intelligent eyes. "My name is Colonel David Grant. Until 3 months ago, I was Deputy Director of Defense Contract Oversight." Lighthouse, Maya's mind raced. A colonel, Pentagon insider. It fit the profile. "Why?" she asked. "Why feed me the story?" "Because I discovered something I couldn't ignore. Defense contractors have been defrauding the government for years, billions of dollars. But it's not just fraud. They're selling American weapons to hostile nations through shell companies, and people at the highest levels are protecting them." Agent Vance said Operation Ghost Fleet was CIA cover. Vance lied. "Ghost Fleet is real corruption. But when I started investigating, I realized how deep it goes. DOD, CIA, Congress. So I needed someone outside the system, a journalist with integrity. That was you. You made me a fugitive." "They did that, not me." Grant's voice hardened. "I gave you real evidence. They're charging you to discredit the story. If you're branded a spy, everything you published becomes suspect." Maya wanted to believe him, but trust had nearly destroyed her. "Prove it," she demanded. "Prove you're telling the truth." Grant pulled out a tablet. "These are internal Pentagon communications from yesterday. Director Vance and Deputy Defense Secretary Morrison. They discuss how to neutralize the Rodriguez situation." He showed her emails. Maya's stomach dropped. "The journalist is a problem. Recommend espionage charges to undermine credibility. The story dies with her reputation." "They planned this," Maya whispered. "They planned everything, including letting you publish. They knew I was Lighthouse. They tracked me, but they couldn't arrest me without exposing what I know. So they waited for me to give you everything, then arrested you instead." "Where were you while I was interrogated?" "Hiding. Protecting the evidence they couldn't get from you." He gestured to a safe in the corner. "Original documents, video recordings, testimony from whistleblowers. Everything needed to prove Ghost Fleet is real." "Why didn't you come forward yourself?" "Because I'm a colonel who disobeyed direct orders. They'd court-martial me, classify everything, and bury it. But you're a civilian journalist. First Amendment protections. If you break the story with this evidence, they can't stop it." Maya studied him. Every instinct screamed this was real, but she'd been wrong before. "How do I know you're not setting me up again?" Grant smiled sadly. "You don't. But Maya, you're already wanted for espionage. What do you have to lose?" Footsteps outside. Multiple people. Grant tensed. "We have company." The warehouse lights exploded on. Tactical teams poured in. FBI, U.S. Marshals. Agent Vance walked in calmly. "Colonel Grant, Miss Rodriguez. What a surprise finding you together." Grant stepped in front of Maya. "This is a setup." "No, Colonel. This is an arrest. You're charged with theft of classified information, conspiracy, and treason. And Miss Rodriguez is charged as your accomplice." Vance smiled coldly. "Quite the partnership." "The evidence Grant started will be classified and sealed." "National security." Vance gestured to her team. "Take them both." As agents moved in, Maya made a split-second decision. She grabbed Grant's tablet and ran. Maya burst through a side door as gunfire erupted behind her. "Don't shoot." Vance's voice. "I need her alive." Maya ran through alleys, the tablet clutched against her chest. Behind her, agents shouted coordinates. boots pounding pavement. She knew these streets, grew up in DC. Every shortcut, every hiding spot. She ducked into a metro station as a train arrived, slipped on just as doors closed. Agents hit the platform seconds too late. The train pulled away. Maya collapsed into a seat, gasping. A homeless man watched her. You running from cops? Something like that. They always catch you eventually. Not tonight. She got off at Gallery Place, disappeared into Chinatown's maze of restaurants and shops, found a 24-hour internet cafe, logged into the tablet. Grant's password was simple. Truth 2024. Inside, thousands of files. Video of a meeting between Defense Secretary Morrison and executives from Titan Defense Systems. They discussed weapons sales to Saudi Arabia, weapons that ended up in Yemen, Syria, Afghanistan. American weapons killing civilians, profits filling private accounts. Bank records showing $2.3 billion moved through shell companies over for years. Testimony from engineers who built weapons systems with deliberate flaws, cheaper to manufacture, more dangerous to soldiers, more profitable to replace. And emails, hundreds of them. Morrison, 3 senators, to generals, and Vance herself. The Rodriguez story is contained. Grant is isolated. We proceed as planned. Maya's hands shook. Vance wasn't investigating corruption. She was part of it. Maya plugged in a USB drive and copied everything. Then she did something risky. She emailed the files to 5 trusted journalists. If she was caught, the story would still break. Subject line: Operation Ghost Fleet, the real story. Publish immediately. She hit send. Her burner phone rang. Unknown number. Maya Rodriguez? A woman's voice. Elderly, refined. Who is this? Senator Patricia Walsh. Armed Services Committee. I need to see you. I received your email 5 minutes ago. Maya's heart raced. Walsh was on the committee that oversaw defense contracts. She was also known for her integrity. How do I know I can trust you? You don't, but I've been investigating Morrison for 2 years. Your evidence is what I needed. Come to my office. I can protect you. Your office is Capitol Hill. I'd be arrested in seconds. Not my official office. My home, Georgetown, 1847 Q Street. 1 hour. Come alone. I promise you safe passage. The line went dead. Maya sat frozen. Another potential trap. But Walsh's reputation was impeccable. 30 years in Senate. Never a hint of scandal. She checked the news. Breaking. Colonel David Grant arrested in espionage case. Grant's photo. Handcuffed. Being led into FBI headquarters. He'd sacrificed himself to get her the evidence. Now she had to decide, trust Walsh or run forever. 2:17 a.m. Georgetown. Senator Walsh's townhouse was elegant but understated. Security cameras, but no visible guards. Maya knocked. An elderly woman answered. 70s, silver hair, sharp eyes behind reading glasses. Senator Patricia Walsh. Miss Rodriguez. Come in quickly. Inside, the townhouse was warm, filled with books and photographs. Walsh led her to a study. May I see the tablet? Maya hesitated, then handed it over. Walsh scrolled through files, her expression darkening. My God, this is worse than I thought. You knew about Ghost Fleet? I knew something was wrong. Defense contracts doubled in for years while equipment quality declined. I pushed for oversight, but Morrison blocked me, said it was classified. Walsh looked up. This proves he's been stealing billions while sending soldiers into combat with faulty equipment. Agent Vance is involved too, I know. FBI has been compromised at the highest levels. That's why you can't trust them. Walsh poured 2 glasses of whiskey. But I can help. I have allies. Senators, Dodge officials, journalists. We can expose this properly. Colonel Grant tried to expose it. Now he's arrested because he worked alone. We need to work together. Coordinated release. Congressional hearings. Criminal referrals. Walsh handed Maya the whiskey. You've done the hard part. Let me do the rest. Maya wanted to believe her. Walsh's reputation was spotless, but everyone she trusted had betrayed her. Why should I trust you? Walsh smiled. Because I'm dying. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. 6 months, maybe less. I have nothing to lose and everything to fix before I go. She showed Maya medical records. Terminal diagnosis. I've spent 30 years in politics. I've made compromises, looked the other way too often. But this, Walsh gestured to the tablet. This is my redemption. Let me help you finish it. Maya felt her resistance cracking. Walsh seemed genuine. What's your plan? Tomorrow, I call a press conference. I announce an emergency hearing on defense contract fraud. I subpoena Morrison, Vance, all of them. And you testify publicly, with full immunity. They'll arrest me before I can testify. Not if you're under congressional protection. As a witness to my committee, you have immunity. I file the paperwork tonight. By dawn, you're untouchable. It sounded perfect. Too perfect. What's the catch? No catch. But I need the original files. All of them. Everything Grant gave you, Maya's instinct screamed. Why? For evidence chain of custody. If we're prosecuting people, the evidence has to be properly secured, legally obtained, traceable. I already emailed copies to 5 journalists. Walsh's expression flickered just for a second. Annoyance? Fear? That's problematic. Unverified documents online can be dismissed as fabricated. We need controlled release. Controlled by who? By people who know how to handle classified information without compromising national security. Maya stood slowly. You want to bury it. I want to do this right. No, you want to control the narrative. Decide what gets released. Protect your allies. Maya backed toward the door. You're one of them. Walsh's mask dropped. Her voice turned cold. Sit down, Miss Rodriguez. The door opened. 2 men in suits entered. Not senators. Contractors. You're not dying, are you? Maya said quietly. Oh, I am. But that doesn't mean I'm ready to let everything burn. Walsh nodded to the men. She has copies. Find them. Delete them. And bring me every device she's touched. Maya bolted. She made it to the hallway before one of the men grabbed her. She fought, screaming, kicking. A cloth covered her mouth. Chemical smell. Sweet. Nauseating. Her vision blurred. Walsh's voice distant. Put her in the basement. We'll deal with her after we clean up this mess. Darkness. Maya woke to the sound of dripping water. She was in a basement. Concrete walls. Single bulb. Her hands were zip-tied behind her back. How long had she been out? Hours? Days? The door opened. Walsh entered, now wearing business attire. I'm sorry it came to this, Walsh said. You're a talented journalist, but you don't understand politics. I understand corruption. You understand nothing. Walsh pulled up a chair. Morrison isn't stealing. He's managing. Defense budgets are bloated, yes. But that money funds black ops the public can't know about. Ghost Fleet is a slush fund for operations Congress would never approve, like selling weapons to terrorists, like protecting American interests in ways that aren't politically palatable. You think democracy works? You think we can vote our way through a hostile world? Walsh leaned forward. We do what's necessary. And journalists like you, who don't see the big picture, endanger everyone. Grant saw the big picture. That's why he came forward. Grant was naive. A soldier with morals in a game that requires pragmatism. Walsh stood. You have 2 choices. Recant everything. Say you were deceived by a foreign agent. Your charges disappear. You live, or we release evidence that you were working with Russian intelligence. Your communications with Lighthouse trace back to Moscow. You become a traitor, and traitors disappear. Maya laughed bitterly. You can't fake that evidence. We already have. The FBI is very talented. Walsh moved to the door. You have 1 hour to decide. After she left, Maya tested the zip ties. Tight, professional, but her captors had made one mistake. They'd left her shoes. She felt inside her right shoe. The USB drive she'd hidden there. Still there. The backup of everything Grant had given her. If she could get out, she could still break the story. Footsteps outside. The door opened, but it wasn't Walsh. It was Colonel Grant. Blood on his face. hands also zip-tied. They threw him into the room and locked the door. Maya, he rasped. I'm sorry. I let them write to you. How did they catch you? They didn't. I surrendered. He met her eyes. Because I planted tracking devices in the tablet. They think they have me. But they don't know about the real evidence. What real evidence? Grant smiled through broken teeth. The tablet I gave you? That was the decoy. The real files are in a safe deposit box in Baltimore. I gave you the key. You didn't check your jacket pocket. When I grabbed you in the warehouse, I slipped it in. Maya felt her pocket. A small key. She'd thought it was hers. Box 447. First National Bank. Baltimore. Everything's there. The originals. Video testimony. Names. All of it. Why didn't you tell me? Because if you'd known, they would have tortured it out of you. Grant coughed blood. The tablet was bait to make them think they'd won. But the real evidence is still out there. The door burst open. Walsh and two contractors. What are you discussing? Walsh demanded. Old times, Grant said. Before you all became traitors. Walsh nodded to the contractors. Kill them both. Make it look like a murder-suicide. Journalist kills her source, then herself. Guilt over espionage charges. One contractor raised a gun. Maya closed her eyes. An explosion rocked the building. The basement door flew off its hinges. Smoke, tactical lights, voices. FBI, drop your weapons. But it wasn't Vance's team. It was a different unit, led by a man Maya recognized from TV. FBI director James Hawthorne himself. Walsh's face went white. Director, this is a misunderstanding, Senator Walsh. You're under arrest for kidnapping, conspiracy, and obstruction of justice. As agents freed Maya and Grant, Hawthorne approached them. Sorry we're late. Took us a while to piece together who was dirty and who wasn't. He looked at Grant. Colonel, your tracker led us here. Smart play. How did you know? Maya asked. Grant contacted me 3 months ago. We've been building a case in parallel. But we needed the evidence solid before we could move. Hawthorne held up a phone. Your emails to those 5 journalists? They went to our people. We've had everything for 2 hours. Vance, Maya asked. Already arrested. Along with Morrison and 7 others. Hawthorne smiled. You did good work, Miss Rodriguez. Dangerous, reckless, but good. 3 days later, Maya stood before a congressional hearing. Not as a defendant, as a witness. The gallery was packed. Cameras everywhere. The entire nation watching. She testified for 4 hours. Every detail, every document, every betrayal. When she finished, the chairman, a senator who'd worked with Walsh, looked shaken. Miss Rodriguez, do you have anything else to add? Yes, sir. I want to thank Colonel Grant. He risked everything for the truth. And I want to say to every journalist watching, our job is to hold power accountable. No matter the cost. Applause erupted. The chairman didn't stop it. That evening, the arrests came. Secretary Morrison, Senator Walsh, 3 generals, 12 defense contractor executives. Charges? Fraud, conspiracy, weapons trafficking, obstruction of justice. Combined, they face 400 years in prison. Maya's espionage charges were dropped, officially cleared, but her life had changed forever. She stood outside the Capitol, watching the sunset. Grant approached, his face still bruised but healing. They're offering me immunity in exchange for testimony, he said. You taking it? Already did. Figured 20 years in Leavenworth wasn't how I wanted to spend retirement. He smiled. What about you? Going back to journalism? Maya thought about it. 6 months of work, 2 weeks of hell, kidnapping, nearly killed. Yeah, she said. I am, even after everything? Especially after everything. She looked at him. Someone has to tell the stories. Might as well be me. Grant extended his hand. It was an honor working with you, Lighthouse. Maya shook it. You too, Colonel. He walked away, disappearing into the DC. Evening. Maya pulled out her phone, a new one. The FBI had kept her old ones as evidence. One new message. Unknown sender. Impressive work on Ghost Fleet. I have another story for you. Bigger. Dangerous. Interested? Phoenix Maya stared at the message. Another anonymous source. After everything, she should walk away. Find a safer beat. Politics, sports, anything but this. But that wasn't who she was. She typed back, "Tell me more." Because the truth doesn't protect itself, someone has to fight for it. And Maya Rodriguez had just discovered she was built for the fight. 6 months later, Maya's book, Trusted Source, How I Exposed a $1 Billion Conspiracy, debuted at #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. But she wasn't celebrating. She was in Baltimore, at First National Bank, opening safe deposit box for $147 one final time. Inside, the originals. Every document Grant had protected. She'd already donated them to the National Archives. Public record, forever accessible. But there was one document she'd kept private. A letter, handwritten, from Grant. "Dear Maya, if you're reading this, everything worked. You're alive. The truth is public. And I'm probably sitting in a courtroom somewhere testifying. I want you to know why I chose you. I researched 50 journalists before contacting you. Most were too ambitious, too willing to cut corners. Others were too cautious, too afraid of consequences. But you were different. You cared about getting it right more than getting it first. You verified everything. You protected sources. You had integrity. That's rare. Don't lose it. The world needs journalists like you. Not because you're fearless, though you proved you are, but because you're honest. In a world full of lies, honesty is the most radical act. Thank you for trusting me, even when you shouldn't have." David Maya folded the letter carefully. Grant was testifying this week. His immunity deal meant no prison, but his military career was over. Dishonorable discharge, pension revoked. He'd given up everything for the truth, just like Maya nearly had. She walked out of the bank into bright Baltimore sunshine. Her phone rang. Her editor, "Maya, Phoenix sent another message. He says he has proof of election fraud in 3 swing states. Are you interested?" Maya thought about it. Another source, another risk, another potential disaster. "Send me what he has. I'll verify before we commit. You sure?" After Ghost Fleet, that's exactly why I'm sure. We verify everything. We protect sources. And we tell the truth. Maya smiled. "That's what we do." She hung up and walked to her car. On the radio, news. Morrison's trial starting next week. Walsh pleading guilty to avoid life in prison. Titan Defense Systems filing for bankruptcy. Ghost Fleet had fallen. The corruption exposed. Justice served. But Maya knew this wasn't the end. It never was. Corruption was like weeds, cut one down, another grows. The fight never stopped. But neither would she. Because someone had to tell the stories. Someone had to hold power accountable. Someone had to trust sources, verify facts, and publish the truth, even when it was dangerous, even when it cost everything. Especially then. Maya Rodriguez drove through Baltimore toward Washington, toward the next story, toward the next fight. Because she'd learned something these past 6 months. Trusting her source had nearly destroyed her. But it had also saved a nation. And sometimes that's what journalism cost. Everything.